Hey guys, we have our winter solstice to talk about today. We are going to do our annual winter solstice reading. This is going to carry us throughout the course of the next 6 months. We are going to look at the energy present for the sun's ingress into the sign of Capricorn today, for our longest night of the year, for the moment of time after which the light will continue to grow, the sun will continue to return until we get back to the summer solstice, the longest day of the year that marks the sun's ingress into the sign of Cancer. See, when we're talking about astrology, we're talking about sort of like the natural new year, at least according to the Western zodiac, broken down into four specific quadrants that mark the origin point and the midpoint of the year, and then also the halfway, the quarters, and the longest and the shortest days of the year as well. The spring equinox marks the beginning of the natural new year each year, the first day of spring, when there is a balance between light and dark. And then we move towards the summer solstice, which represents the longest day of every year, the most amount of light, the shortest night. But after that, we continue to lose light each day. And then by the time we get to the autumnal equinox, the fall equinox, day and night again are balanced. And then we work our way to the winter solstice, where we are now, and we lose light up until this point when the sun enters the sign of Capricorn. On the autumn equinox, I should say, the sun is entering the sign of Libra. And the spring equinox, the sun is entering the sign of Aries. And the summer solstice, the sun is entering the sign of Cancer. So we're talking about the four cardinal signs representing the four cardinal directions. And the equinoxes and the solstices, these quadrants that our year is divided up into, align with the initiation point of these cardinal energies. So today we're talking about the Capricorn energy being activated, the longest night of the year. The sun is on the brink of coming back. The birth of the sun happens alongside of this, and it is happening this year, December 21st, 2022, on a Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern time. 5 is the number of dynamic change. So I do feel like this is going to be a 6-month period of some pretty significant change. There's some really clear themes that are coming through. We're going to look at this period of time. We're going to look at this day like we are looking at a natal chart. We're just going to do an energy reading looking at the next 6 months between today, when we have this solstice energy, when the sun is at 0.00 degrees of Capricorn. We're going to look at the chart and see what it indicates to be unfolding between now and the summer solstice. So that's the game plan for today, you guys, and let's get into this solstice reading. I feel like this period of time, this 6-month period, is about bossing up. I feel like it's about taking our power back. I feel like we are going to be feeling sort of like the king in our castle, like the chief on our throne, you know what I mean? I feel like we're going to be coming more into our own. I feel like we're going to be embodying a lot of the deeper truths that we have gained a better understanding of in relationship to and really discovered within us throughout the course of 2022, also back into 2021 and 2020. I feel like what was triggered also by the Uranus Saturn square that was so relevant all of, end of 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, also really shaking the foundations that we'd been standing on, disrupting our level of comfort or resources or just stability generally, and really maybe up leveling a lot of what we thought was solid under our feet in our lives. But it's for the purpose of breaking us out of any self-limiting beliefs or just this structures essentially that we've created for ourselves that are out of alignment with the truth of our authenticity, right? With Saturn having been in the sign of Aquarius for this square that was going on, and Uranus in the sign of Taurus trying to awaken us to our true value and our resources that we hold within, and give us an ability to tap those and cultivate those through removing essentially anything that was acting as a limitation, a block, or a hindrance to our growth. That really, at the end of the day, I feel like is what this big Saturn-Uranus square that we've been dealing in this past couple of years boiled down to, getting us out of any situation that was hindering our growth in alignment with like our true and organic potential, whether or not we wanted to, whether or not we thought it was a good idea, whether or not it's something like comfortable to us. So, and the reason that I'm bringing that up now is because I feel like we are finally at a point in time where the dust has kind of settled in terms of that type of stuff, and we are ready to like pick ourselves back up, carry on, on and start going, heading, becoming, initiating something radically new and different, heading in a dynamically new direction, and really filled with some like personal like confidence and courage and strength and faith and trust and belief in ourselves, in our path, and a lot of the risks we actually take in this energy to launch out in a new direction, or to make something new happen for ourselves, or to redefine ourselves in some type of a way, are going to be supported. This period of time between now and when the sun moves into Cancer 2023, if we are willing to leap, as long as we've looked first and we've like sort of tested the waters a little bit, and we're not just totally, riding on blind chance, we're going to be supported in a lot of our endeavors and a lot of the risks that we take, and a lot of the, opportunities that we seize right now are going to have successful outcomes. As long as also we're in alignment and we're truly following our passion and our inspiration and like the urge and the calling of our soul. So anyways, let's talk specifically about what we have going on in terms of aspects coming through in our chart for our winter solstice energy, and how that is playing into some of the stuff that I've been saying to sort of get us started in this reading. Anyways, we have, if you guys will notice on your screen right here, I have added the chart of our solstice, and you will see the sun at 0 degrees of the sign of Capricorn, but you will also notice that we happen to have Jupiter, the planet of trust and belief and hope and optimism and faith and good fortune and luck and truth and freedom, sitting also at 0 degrees of a cardinal sign, and that cardinal sign is Aries. So the first significant feature of our solstice chart that we have to look at is this huge cardinal square that we have going on that is exact in its nature. Both of these planets at 0 degrees of cardinal signs, Capricorn and Aries, and they're forming the square. Now, of course, this is a Jupiter square, and of all the planets to be forming a square once, Venus isn't that bad either, but Jupiter is one of the best planets that you can have a square forming with, and we're talking about the sun. So this is motivating growth. This energy, if we take the signs out of it, if we take the fact that it's 0 degrees of cardinal signs out of it as well, like this is simply an aspect and a transit that is indicating growth and like positive momentum, okay? Because we're talking about Jupiter, expansion, growth, good fortune, success, luck, positivity, supersizing things, and we're talking about the sun, okay? This is our life force energy. This is what makes us grow and thrive. This is our character. This is our spirit. So there is an inflated or an expanded life force that is coming into fruition throughout the course of the next 6 months, being indicated simply by the fact that we have the sun and Jupiter in exact to the degree aspect for our solstice energy. Now, when we add in the fact that these are Aries and Capricorn, these cardinal signs that we're talking about, and also 0 degrees of cardinal signs, these are the initiation points. This is a critical degree. These are some of the most powerful degrees of the sign, because it's like the launch points, like the spark, especially 0 degrees of Aries, in my opinion. This to me is like the ignition of the entire zodiac. And with Jupiter here, Aries, you guys, Aries is the sign of the self. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is a very important planet over this next 6 months, and we will get into talking about that as well. But this is a fire, you guys, that is burning within us, okay, to do something, to take some action, to move ourselves forward, to take a risk, to go in a new direction, to set out, to actively engage somehow. And how is that, you guys? It's along the lines of manifesting our goals. The sun in Capricorn. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Hard work, focus, concentration, form, structure, control, laying foundations. And when Capricorn works and when Capricorn builds and when Capricorn does stuff, it's done well, it's done right, and it's enduring, it's long lasting. Saturn rules Capricorn. Saturn's also the Lord of time. Like, it takes us far into the future. The foundations, the projects, what we're putting our energy into right now, the goals that we're working toward throughout the course of this winter solstice cycle between now and the summer solstice cycle are the real deal, and they are they're restructuring our reality in a way that is going to really carry us a distance into the future. And it's going to be important that we do things right. But we're also getting a Mercury retrograde not long after we head into this energy that is really going to help us fix anything, or go back and revise or adapt or adjust in any way in terms of what we may have missed, or things that sort of got lost along the way, or details that we need to like hone in on a little bit to make our whatever we're putting our energy into better. So that is also something that we're going to have to keep in mind. Whatever we begin working towards at this period of time is going to undergo some major revisions before it reaches its final outcome. But its final outcome is likely to be like successful and fortunate and blessed in its duration, for one, because we are talking about Saturn, which brings things down into the future and makes them reliable and makes them solid. But we're also talking about Jupiter, which is good fortune and success and having the bigger picture, seeing the whole plan, seeing the overall blueprint. This is I really love that this square is happening in the first degrees of Capricorn and Aries, with it being Jupiter, because the Sun and Jupiter, a lot of times this, on one hand, it makes us feel very energized, and it gives us this great ability, this vast ability to see this like big, huge picture. But in doing that, we can sort of lose like some of the more important like steps along the way that make sure that whatever we're doing leads to that long-term success and isn't just sort of built on like a house of cards that crumbles along the way. But the fact that the Sun is in Capricorn, this does give us that narrow-minded focus and that attention to detail and that like ability to concentrate and to really like hone in on the like minor intricacies and stuff like that that are important to ensure that firm foundation, that strong foundation that can give us that lasting Jupiter success and whatever it is that we are working towards. Capricorn focusing on putting our energy into as well. And this is happening also in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. Mars is retrograde in Gemini right now, which is telling us that throughout the process of building or constructing or moving towards or recreating or following our passions or going in a new direction or taking the risk right now, we're going to be learning new information along the way that is going to make it better. And again, it's important that we don't get so we're not just feeling so passionate and inspired and motivated that we get overly attached to a certain way that things need to be done as well. With this Capricorn Jupiter dynamic going on, we need to be open for adjustments. We need to be open for things to be revised and to be realigned. And we need to understand that we need to be adaptable in our process right now and realize that we don't have all the information now, or there's like a crucial part of the process that may be missing somehow, because Mars is retrograde in the sign of Gemini, which is about ideas, partnerships, communications, information that we're gaining. So we are likely to be learning even more as we go through the process, sort of learning as we go, adapting and making it better. So we need to keep a very open mind as we're going through this process. But generally, you guys, with this square going on at the first degrees, this is tons of energy. This is really coming back to life. If you've been sort of feeling just listless or unmotivated or just detached from yourself or just not like yourself in any type of way, like this energy coming through with this solstice and carrying us through this next 6 months is really probably going to bring you back to life and have you feeling reinvigorated, like revitalized and inspired in maybe a way that you haven't in a very long time. Tons of energy and tons of motivation. And I love it because this is specifically geared towards our goals, what we want to be, what we can create to be successful. We're using our energy towards our own success with this chart layout as it's presenting and carrying us through over this next 6 months. It's very empowering, you guys, for the collective of humanity. Not so much for, the 3D matrix, which we know in our transition to the age of Aquarius right now is sort of crumbling and on its way out, and we are transitioning into newness in a lot of different areas and very much on the world stage as well. A lot of the just the authority, the ruling structure, the power structures and hierarchies of the past, with Pluto also in the end of Capricorn right now. We're talking about the Sun moving into Capricorn. This is also, of course, going to be triggering Pluto in Capricorn, representing the crumbling of the matrix and the downfall of the long-standing orders of rulership and control, just as part of this process where we're at right now. So there is an element of that is likely to be playing out throughout the course of this next 6 months too. But I will tell you, there is a reinvigorated warrior spirit, warrior energy throughout. Men, women, everybody is really fired up and inspired to pursue and to fight for their passions and their personal truth, and the ability to embody those things, and to, especially right now, also with Mars and Gemini, be able to have like freedom of thought and freedom of speech and freedom of movement. Like, these are very important right now, and people are willing to fight for them, and is very indicated in this chart and moving forward over this next 6 months as well. But it's really all about our goals, and it's really all about, how can I use my energy to create success in my life? Like, that is one thing that is really being indicated by the configuration of planetary energies coming together for this solstice. I'm telling you guys, it is better if you're going to make New Year's resolutions this year, which I do recommend. I recommend, setting a goal, setting an intention, because this is a year specifically where it's really going to be supported, and you're going to have the energy to do it. And it is time to like boss up in whatever situation in life we're in right now, and figure out a way that we can make ourselves better, even if it's only in one small area of life. Like, how can I work towards self-improvement in this one area or across the board in my entire life? This is the theme that is coming through energetically, and this is what is going to be supported, very supported. You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised how much easier it is than you thought it would be to find success in whatever area you decide to focus on self-improvement over the 6 month period. But I definitely recommend making the New Year's resolutions now, actually before New Year's, because we're going to have Mercury go retrograde on the 29th of December. So December 31st, January 1st, Mercury is going to be retrograde, and you may not be thinking as clearly about stuff as you are now. So I would say, if you want to set some intentions, if you want to make some goals, also moving into our new moon in Capricorn that is coming up like tomorrow, then this is the time to make those New Year's resolutions in the solstice energy and in the new moon energy that we have coming up as well. 6 months though of successful progress in terms of putting energy, putting in the work, and taking action to manifest something. And again, this is Capricorn, this is Jupiter, to grow something, to be successful and enduring somehow. Self-inspired, self-motivated to focus, concentrate, and work hard. This is also going to be the type of energy where we're feeling more inspired to work alone. We don't need necessarily like a cheerleading squad as much to like get us to kind of put our nose to the grindstone and make some things happen. Like, we're just feeling very much more self-motivated, very much more self-focused, self-inspired, and we just kind of want to like get some work done. Very action-oriented though as well. It's like, really, like, this is not an exaggeration. We're talking about the sun in Capricorn, Jupiter and Aries. Like, we can move mountains. We can do anything that we set our mind to, for real. But the only thing that we need to keep in mind is like, we need to have a strategy. Like, we need to have boundaries. We need to think things through properly and not just be like, whoa, like way overly enthusiastic without considering, again, like the fine print or like the more like intricate details of things. We need to organize, we need to concentrate, and we need to ensure the foundations of our structures are solid before building up the next layer. But other than that, we need to pace ourselves. That probably is like the best advice that I could give to help us like ensure the long-term success of whatever we're working on right now. It's just to really pace ourselves. Like, this is a marathon, okay? This is not a sprint. We may really feel like coming out of the gate like flying, because again, like, it's the spark that's being lit within us after a very long time of maybe that flame just like barely simmering. And now all of a sudden it's like, whew, and it like blows up, and we're like, wow, like I really got to get started on something. But we don't want to like go flying out of the gate and then just like run out of, just overtax ourselves, right? We want to be careful not to overextend ourselves, to overpromise, or this is another keyword, to overcommit. Saturn also rules commitments. Capricorn rules commitments, goals, commitments. Yes, but we don't want to overdo it when we're talking about Jupiter, to the point where we're actually depleting our energy and not being able to gear it towards our personal success in whatever goal we're trying to achieve. That is what this equation boils down to. Personal success in completing a goal that really actually makes us feel better about ourselves or makes us feel alive. This is a period of self-improvement. This is like glow up energy, you know what I mean? And that's actually what I was saying in one of these videos I did not too long ago. I think it was the one from Monday. But anyways, I was saying that like I keep feeling really strongly like this is the year that we are all just going to like get into our best form, like get into our best selves. And again, you know, some people may really go full bore with this and it may be like across the board, like sweeping changes. And for other people, you know, maybe there's just one little thing that you can focus on to improve yourself. And, you know, maybe that little improvement will have such a significant impact that it will like ripple effect and cause like other improvements as a result of that, as a consequence as well. But, you know, this is the year, especially this first 6 months between now and the summer solstice, at least. I haven't looked at the summer solstice energy yet. But it really is about self-improvement energy, and we are being very supported in personal success, working towards a goal that helps us truly grow or thrive or become better in some type of way. So there's that. Now, another aspect, you guys, of this solstice energy that we have going on and of this next 6 months coming up, there's a very strong healing infusion that is going on here. Chiron is also being exactly aspected and sextiled by Mars for this solstice today. Chiron is currently in Aries, which is ruled by Mars. We have Jupiter now in Aries. There's going to be a Jupiter-Chiron conjunction that is coming up over the course of this next couple of months. And so, you know, this is also indicating a period of some very significant healing and coming to a point of a much better understanding of ourselves and our processes, and like wisdom gained through experience in a lot of ways is something that we're going to be able to use practically to apply to this manifestation of our goals as well, moving throughout this period of time. But this Chiron energy that is being emphasized as well, and it's coming through in a couple different ways that I'll talk about in a minute, but it is an exact sextile to Mars, who's the ruler of Jupiter right now, who is in the square to the sun for our solstice today. But this is emphasizing this healing energy. And also, I feel like it's emphasizing sort of like an end to painful cycles or cycles of trauma, sort of once and for all, and also our attachment to them in any type of way, or to the people that have hurt us or that have harmed us. I feel like we're sort of cutting ties with situations, again, that have kept us out of our power, that have kept us from seeing the truth of our value. And this has been an ongoing process. 2022 was a lot about karmic detox, breaking generational cycles, breaking karmic loops, detaching ourselves from people and places and situations that were stealing our power and prohibiting our growth, right? I feel like that was sort of the main theme of Saturn-Uranus square, which I was talking about earlier. Universe moving us at this point in time away from and out of situations that are blocking or limiting or hindering our ability to align with our true potential and our growth at this point in time. Because of course, it all comes back to, you guys, the fact that we are transitioning to the age of Aquarius right now, which is a collective transition from, you know, being more passive consumers to being more active creators, which is being ignited in this energy right now. And it also requires a hero's journey, which is represented through the Chiron archetype, our journey, personalized journey from victimhood to self-mastery, which is also synonymous with the process of self-actualization, which is also synonymous with our energetic shift into the age of Aquarius, and that it represents activating our destiny, tapping our potential, coming into our higher selves, and coming to a point where we are vibrationally co-creating our reality with God, spirit, universe, as a result of our much greater understanding and wisdom that we've gained through our experience and our ability to navigate this reality from that more masterful perspective. And that is where we're going, and that is what universe is pushing us towards, and that is why this past couple of years have been so crazy. We're literally going through a paradigm shift, but it's an individual paradigm shift that is then extrapolated and reflected in the collective whole. And over time, which is a long time, you guys, this 2,000-year period, you know, this is not all happening at once, but it is happening, and we can see the effects of the early stages of this process now. And so anyways, that being said, there is this healing energy and this detachment energy from that which has harmed us in the past. And as a result, coming into a greater state of self-mastery over the course of this next 6 months period of time, and of self-empowerment through this process. Also with Mars retrograde in the sign of Gemini, ruling Chiron right now, what we're learning a lot about, how we've been wounded and how to heal ourselves on some deep levels as well throughout this Mars retrograde period and Mars's transit of the sign of Gemini, while we have Chiron in the sign of Aries right now, which is ruled by Mars. But I do feel like this period of time is, like I said, also indicating the end of some painful cycles that perhaps we've been in all of our life, or that, we've learned the lesson of, and they're coming to an end now. This is an active healing cycle. Now we can break down how all this energy is playing into Chiron, but really actually both luminaries, the sun and the moon for our winter solstice chart, are indirectly feeding into the Chiron energy. This is of course because the sun moving into the sign of Capricorn is forming that exact square, right, to Jupiter in the sign of Aries. Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is in an exact sextile, exact aspect to Chiron today, and Chiron is also in the sign of Aries, which is ruled by Mars. And then we have the moon, which we haven't even gotten to today yet. The moon is in the sign of Sagittarius today, which is ruled by Jupiter, which is of course in the sign of Aries with Chiron, ruled by Mars. Mars forming the exact aspect to Chiron in his sign. So lots of Chiron energy that is being both directly and indirectly pointed to or indicated to today by a lot of different planets that we have going on. So, I see this as an active period of healing. We are mentally engaged in this process, and I feel like we're learning a lot, gaining new information, seeing things in a different way, maybe being exposed to new ideas that we had never had the opportunity to experience before, or just new ways of seeing things, or alternative methods as well that are changing our approach to healing, or that are facilitating or assisting this process of healing. Remember, we have Mars. This is a sextile aspect. This is a facilitating, assisting aspect, but Chiron is retrograde right now, but in the sign of Aries. This is us taking the initiative to gain the information, or to see things in a different direction, or to seek out, different counsel or something like that, alternatives, choices, options, the sign of Gemini, in order to gain a different viewpoint that is actually facilitating or assisting in this process. But with it being the sextile, this is something that we're actively engaged in order to make happen for ourselves with both Mars and Chiron retrograde. Chiron is actually going to be going direct soon as well, though. So again, this is indicating coming to the end of a process of internalized healing that we are ready to sort of step out and begin embodying in our experiences in the world, in terms of what we are attracting, what we are not attracting, what we are dealing with, and what we are no longer allowing to wound us. You know what I mean? How we are actually expressing what the healing of our wounds is doing for the context of our lives going forward. I'll say it like that. Now let's move on, you guys. Let's talk about what the moon is doing, because of course the moon is important when we're talking about a chart as well. The moon is in Sagittarius right now. And so Jupiter, this is again placing an emphasis on Jupiter. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. So Jupiter in terms of the moon, Jupiter in terms of the sun, even though we've got Capricorn energy that we're talking about. And remember, we are actually still in our Sagittarius cycle. So even though we've got Capricorn energy that we were talking about, Jupiter, Jupiterian energy, Jupiterian influence is really the primary significant energetic factor right now instead of Saturn. Saturn rules the sign of Capricorn. Saturn has a tendency of being very large and in charge at this time of year, but actually Jupiter is playing that role right now, and Mars is playing a secondary role as well because of Mars's rulership in the sign of Aries, where Jupiter is right now, and the aspects that Mars makes as well. But anyways, so Jupiter primary influence. Saturn's actually not making any aspects. Saturn's in a very loose square with Uranus, but that is so distanced by now and it's over that we're kind of leaving that in the past. And like I said, I feel like we're actually starting to move forward from the chaos that energy over this period of time may have brought to us. All of this energy though, it really does all funnel back into Mars, because Jupiter being very prominent right now in the sign of Aries, ruled by Mars, it's very important what Mars is doing for us. And Aries is also about, it's a sign of the self, it's a sign of the warrior, it's a sign of the pioneer, it's about again, taking risks and going in a new direction and actively asserting ourselves and starting new things and being very independent. And with this Jupiter influence there, it's like personal truth as well. Jupiter rules the sign of truth, personal passion. Our desire to defend and pursue that is what all this energy is like funneling back into. It's like, yes, we are very inspired and passionate to like go after our dreams and to go after our goals and to like make something solid happen for ourselves, to make our dreams come true. So this is what I was saying if you guys watched my video about Jupiter leaving Pisces and moving to the sign of Aries, and like that progression of energy and the ability that gives us to actually like put action towards making our dreams come true, because we're coming out of this Jupiter energy in the sign of Pisces, which is a sign of our dreams and our ideals and our fantasies and our higher self. And it gives us a much greater understanding and ability to grow and to expand into our dreams and our fantasies and our higher truths. And so then when we transition that into the sign of Aries and we have this fire lit within us, it's like, what do we have this fire lit within us to do? It's like to go in the direction of our dreams, to take action to make our dreams into reality. And then when we have the opportunity this year of being in an exact square to the sun in the sign of Capricorn ruled by Saturn, really about grounding things on the material plane, the 3D like material physical world, Capricorn, structures, foundations, forms, control, precision, perfection, right? Amazing manifestation energy, you guys. Amazing opportunity to translate our dreams in alignment with our higher self and our higher truth into a physical, tangible reality through this inspiration or this passion or this light that is like shining within us, or this fire that is lit under us to get the work done. It's like, but the thing is, like, it's like in this energy, the good fortune doesn't come from us just like sitting around doing nothing. Okay, like that's another way with the Jupiter Sun square Aries Capricorn dynamic. The success, the fortune, the growth, because this is a square aspect, it requires work, it requires effort, it requires endurance, it requires concentration, focus, diligence, patience as well. This is also, like I said, there's going to be revisions. We're going to have to go back and redo things. This is not speaking to instantaneous success. This is speaking to a slow, gradual process of expansion and growth in alignment with personal truth and freedom that is like really inspired by our passions, that is long lasting and stable and enduring, but does not happen overnight. It happens through this slow process of like one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, paying attention, thinking big, absolutely. Sky's the limit, moving mountains, anything is possible, but we need to do it right. We need to do it according to the plan. We need to do it according to the blueprint. We need to do it according to the strategy. We need to not get discouraged if it's not happening instant, instant manifestation. Like that's not this energy. But what we can count on is if we are willing to do the work, if we're going to be mature, if we're going to be patient, if we're going to be hardworking, if we're going to be grounded, if we're going to be practical about stuff, if we're going to take into account, adjustments and like the minute details and be able to like adhere to our plans and stuff, it's going to be a fantastic outcome, you guys. Big things are going to come of it. Just abundance across the map, like 10 of Pentacles type of energy. We are successful in completing our goals if we follow through and if we do it right over this next 6-month period of time. And again, like this 6 months may just be like the initiation phase. This may just be getting the ball rolling. But what we're starting, what we're building, what we're growing, what we're forming, if we're doing it right over this next 6 months, is going to carry on to the future and is going to have an ultimate outcome of some type of success for us. This is a tremendously creative energy. Like I said, you guys, like this energy right here is some of the best energy for manifestation with this new moon in Capricorn that we have upon us as well. And this solstice energy, make your New Year's resolutions, set your intentions, set your goals, do your vision boards, do your journalings, do your meditations, do your, inner vision imprinting, whatever it is you do, however it is you do it, however it is you set yourself up for success, do that and like get your mind in alignment with that and commit yourself to it. We are being supported in commitments as well at this period of time, and it's going to start taking small steps in that direction now, and be willing to change, be willing to adapt, be willing to, if you make a mistake, make a little correction, like it's okay. And we're going to go towards a very nice trajectory of success going forward, you guys. Tremendously creative period of time. This is like supreme glow up energy, okay? If you've been feeling like you need a makeover, if you've been feeling like you need to do something with yourself, if you've been feeling like you need to totally switch it up and make some drastic changes in the way that you present yourself, or in the way that you interact with other people, or the way that you spend your time, or the way that you just whatever, however, this is the energy to do it in for sure. Manifestation energy, growth and productivity energy, very good, very supported in getting things done. If there's some big projects or some significant things that you need to work on, this is excellent energy to do that as well. This is get to work energy. This is stay focused, stay concentrated. This is not, we really need to be like super out and about and like out on the town and, living it up and that type of stuff. No, that will come when we're reaping the benefits and the rewards of the hard work and the success that what we are putting our time and energy into right now has grown us in the future coming into next summer. But now is the time to get to work, free your mind, follow your heart, follow your passion, let your passion be your motivation in this energy. Take a risk and jump energy as well. Like I said, you will most likely land on your feet. You're most likely going to be supported as long as you are not just blindly jumping, like that's another piece of advice I've been giving lately. Like we want to make sure that we look before we leap, we're not just running and jumping off that cliff. We want to make sure that we have the proper gear, or that we've got like no rocks in the water underneath us. We want to be making sure that we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's. But as long as we've got essentially like our ducks in a row and we have done our due diligence, then risks are going to be supportive, and we are likely to, like I said, land on our feet in situations where we normally may be too tentative or too cautious to even try. This is energy where people are going to be doing things that they didn't know that they could do and being successful at it. This is going to be waking up an inner confidence that maybe has been dormant for a very long time, and people are going to be feeling inspired, feeling powerful, feeling capable again. So I feel like this is a very good energy generally, and it is ultimately, like I said to start this report, this is boss up energy. Like I feel like that is how we can sort of summarize what's going on right now. We're heading towards a period of self-improvement. It's time to, like I said, like sit back on our throne, take back the reins of our own life, and become the boss and the CEO of our own situation and of our own story as it's unfolding right now. And we're doing that. We're heading in that direction, and universe is actually really supporting us in this process. So very inspired period of time. We may also be dealing with, I should say this too, I do want to say this, we may also be dealing with some irrational fears of loss and also uncertainty that come up throughout this 6 months, especially about opportunities and resources and like what we can and cannot truly accomplish. Like I said, we want to be careful that we don't bite off more than we can chew, or that we don't overcommit, or that we don't overextend ourselves, because this is the type of energy that could lead to these like irrational fears or insecurities that might come up that might make us really question whether or not, we made the right choice or we made the right decision. And if we do start feeling that way though, you guys, over the course of this next 6 months, I feel like this is a sign. This is when we stop and we say, okay, like I'm feeling like this, I pay attention to it. I feel like this is a sign that something is internally out of balance, or that we're looking at something wrong, or that we have overextended ourselves, or that we are lacking boundaries as well. Again, with this Jupiter Capricorn energy, it's interesting because Capricorn, this is a sign like all about boundaries, structure. Jupiter has no boundaries. Jupiter is everywhere, always, and it's fine. So there could be like issues with boundaries, and again, overcommitting ourselves or spreading ourselves too thin. That is where we shoot ourselves in the foot in this energy, because like I said, this is a time of self-improvement. If we are overcommitted and spreading ourselves too thin, then we are putting our energy externally, and we don't have any to feed internally to ourselves to contribute to this process of self-improvement. Universe is supporting, you guys, this process of self-improvement. So if we're not putting our energy towards self-improvement first, then we're not going to it's going to have a more repressive effect on our ability to succeed at the other things that we're trying to do, okay? So that's why we can't be overextending ourselves or overcommitting ourselves or overpromising, because it's going to diminish our ability to do what we need to do for ourselves, which is actually working against the flow of energy right now, which is going to create a resistance in terms of the energetic field. Okay, so that's sort of like how that's working, I guess, if I really explain it. But, you know, if these irrational fears, or if these issues, or, you know, questions about what we can truly do or accomplish or capable start coming up again, I feel like there's something out of balance. Maybe we need to reel it back in, or maybe we're not looking at something the right way as well, or we need to learn something, or we need to gain a different point of view or a different perspective somehow. With Mars right now still ruling the sign of Jupiter in the sign of Gemini retrograde, we could be like seeing things a little bit backwards or not how they truly are, and this could also be upsetting the balance within us in one way or another. Now, another aspect of this solstice chart that we have playing out is Pluto is also in an exact opposition to the black moon from Capricorn to Cancer as well, when the sun hits that 0 degree of Capricorn mark. So the sun moving to the sign of Capricorn, this is, you know, Pluto's also in Capricorn. Pluto is in the exact opposition to the black moon. Pluto in opposition to the black moon, this can, you know, we've got to really be careful that we're not giving too much power to like our subconscious fears or the shadows or the darkness in this energy. Now, this is a very transformative and healing and regenerative energy for getting to the core of some of our issues or some of our fears or some of our blocks, and like really cleansing it, purifying it, regenerating it, overpowering it. But it can also have us feeling like powerless to those exact things as well. You know, we're dealing with an opposition. This is polarities. There's two ways that things can go. So with Pluto in exact opposition to the black moon in Cancer right now, we don't want to let these subconscious fears or these triggers dominate or overpower our focus and our drive to accomplish our goals. So there's kind of two things that we need to sort of look out for. These like irrational fears or insecurities could be arising, and we don't want to, either from, you know, being in a place where we feel like we are having to put too much energy externally and not enough internally, that creates like a disruption of balance within us. Or, you know, when fears do arise, we could feel sort of at the whim of them, or like they have some irrational power over us, and we don't want to do that as well. We don't want to back down to things. We don't want to allow any fears that come up to overpower the motivation and the drive that is pushing us and towards pursuing our goals and accomplishing, you know, the success that this period of time is also indicating for us right now. Overall, though, we have our eye on the prize, you guys. This next 6 months, like whatever that is, we are likely to not be backing down, and we're likely to not be taking no for an answer, regardless of the fears or the blocks or the impediments that may be standing in our way as well. We are sort of pushing through it. And I feel like, again, with this Chiron energy coming through as well, we're sort of conquering these fears. We're healing. We're ending the cycles where things or traumas or pain or subconscious issues had control over us in a way that kept us out of the truth of our value, or kept us from having the courage and the strength and the confidence in ourselves to go in a new direction and to try something new. So we're not backing down. It's time to, like I've said a couple times, Jupiter in the sign of Aries, time to man up, sit on the throne, slay life, turn our dreams into reality. We know the direction now that we need to take, and we are stepping into this big boss energy to take back what's ours. Keywords that I feel like are coming through: we have power, change, care, speed, freedom. Reason why I'm saying those words, let's talk about Sabian symbols for a second. We have the sun, 1 degree of Capricorn in terms of the Sabian symbol today. That Sabian symbol is an Indian chief claims power from the assembled tribe, taking power back from anywhere that we may have surrendered it out of a need for support or validation in the past. We have the earth at 1 degree of Cancer. On a ship, the sailors lower an old flag and raise a new one. Change of guard, major changes going on at this period of time as well. We have the moon at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. A mother leads her small child step by step up a stairway. So precision, care, but also elevated. We're moving in a higher direction. We're going up, you guys. We have Mercury at 21 degrees of Capricorn, a relay race. We're taking off. This is like a jump off point. We are heading in a new direction and we are moving quickly. Even though the process to completion may be a slow process, like this energy is activating and it is firing up to take some action now. And we have Mars at 12 degrees of Gemini. A slave girl demands her rights of her mistress. We are breaking the sign of Gemini. We are freeing our mind, and as a result of that, it's changing a lot of things for us and contributing to this whole situation that we have playing out. And then Saturn right now, 22 degrees of Aquarius, ruling the position of the sun right now. A rug placed on the floor for children to play. Everything is in place. The stage is set. Ready, set, go, you guys. It is time to take some action to move ourselves forward towards accomplishing a higher version of ourselves in one way or another. We're manifesting something of value to ourselves, for ourselves, in ourselves, of ourselves, moving throughout this next 6-month period of time. On the macrocosm, like I said, this is Mars energy, Aries, and we're talking about Capricorn energy. We're talking about Saturn, Jupiter in the sign of Aries. Aries is the sign of, it rules youth and it rules masculinity, and it's the warrior spirit, the warrior energy in a very expanded way. Capricorn, this is the sign of like the old general or the long established orders of power and authority and control. So we've got the youthful warrior spirit, right, up against the long established orders of power, authority, and control. The way I see this, you guys, playing out over this 6-month period of time, I feel like there's going to be themes coming up of warrior for truth, warrior for freedom versus like long-standing tyranny and long-standing control. And I feel like we are in some very revolutionary times right now as well, with Pluto also being at the USA natal degree where Pluto was for when the United States was formed. Pluto is at that exact degree right now as well, and it's the 3rd time he's been at that degree because of a retrograde process. We are in a personal revolution as well this year, and this energy that's coming in this first 6 months or so, like, this is inspiring. It's this masculine energy versus this authority energy, and it is lighting this fire within us to break free from the restrictions and the rules and the limitations of the past that have kept us from being able to go through this process of self-improvement and growth that we're being called towards right now. As remember, it all comes back to this greater overall paradigm shift that is going on right now, and this energetic transition into the age of Aquarius, and what that is doing for us on an individual level, as we have to go through this self-actualization process in order to vibrationally align with the incoming frequencies that are moving the planet in that direction, along with the collective of humanity. So, it's ultimately about this bigger end game, but on a smaller level, the way that it's activating right now is through really waking us back up and pushing us forward to pursue a level of this self-actualization and boss up and do something to improve ourselves over this period of time. So you guys, that's what I have to say. That is the way that I am personally reading the chart of the winter solstice 2022. Let's grab a synchronicity card now. Let's ask God, Spirit, Universe, what is some additional feedback or advice or information or guidance that we can use as we're going through this period of time. And it says, don't fight it. This is what we need to keep in mind as we're going through this next 6 months. Release those subject to bondage. Hebrews 2:15. Whatever type of restriction or bondage you find yourself experiencing, don't fight against it mentally. Know God will open up a new door for you and lead you to peace and freedom. So this is saying that over this next period of time, we need to not resist the processes that are happening to us now. If there appear to be restrictions or blockages that come in the way of the progress that we're trying to make at this point in time, we need to sort of not fight against them and surrender to whatever is going on and realize that it's a part of this greater unfolding plan or sequence of events, and God will open up a new door for you and lead you to peace and freedom. So again, I feel like this is also maybe talking about some of these like fears or blockages or worries that may pop up along the way, and that we need to know that we are heading in this direction, and it is going to manifest ultimately in terms of success, especially if we are keeping the rules of Saturn in mind and doing things according to a plan and doing them in the right way and using our integrity and making the right choices and our moral judgment and all of that as well. don't lose faith, don't lose hope if we come to a point in time where, there seems to be something obstructing your way over this period of time, because this is saying that obstructions will be removed when the time is right. So that's what I have to say, you guys. That is the information coming through for this winter solstice 2022 energy. If you guys like this, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you think they would like this type of astrology content too. Leave me comments. I love your comments. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. I really love knowing how these energies are hitting you guys and impacting you as well. Again, thank you guys so much. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below if you're into any of that. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. We will have another astrology video. We have a new moon coming up, and we're going to get into that as well. So I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. And I will see you then, you guys. Have a beautiful winter solstice. And until next time, bye.